Okay, so you can see it looks like a bit of a mess, but everything is sort of done properly. As you can see, all conduits are running through the flexible, all wires are running through the flexible conduit. Again, the 240 here, which is going to be done by an electrician. You can see I've sort of run all the cables through one channel, and there's a lot of cables. I had 90 meters of cable that is finished, so I had to get some more. So what have we got here? We've got sort of the makeshift the LED lights up here. I've got the fan for the internal all wired up. I've got the shower fan sort of makeshift in place, so I had to put everything in place to make sure that when I run the tests that everything is working, because it's going to be difficult if you make a mistake. So I've put these are really great, reading lamps, and they're touched. They've got a USB as well, so we'll test all of that and just to see if everything works. So I'm just going to screw those plates in before I do the test, so I don't want any malfunction happening. And this is the section where everything will be, which is the side of the back side of the shower. It's all sealed. So I've got my switchboard here. I'm going to have the fuse box here as well, and then I'm going to have the external switches. So I'll show you all of those once I get to it. I'm not going to put those in as yet because they're going to be mounted on the outside. This will sort of protrude out a little from the backing that I will put here. Okay, so these things that you see are basically the USB ports. So they flip up like that and you can put your USB ports in. These are all 12 volt systems. Okay, so they're not 240, so they're all 12 volts, which I can wire up myself. In my past life, I was a field service computer technician who trained in the Certificate of Technology, so understand how these sort of things work. Very basic stuff. All right, let's wire up the battery and see if everything works. Now that's going to be interesting. So if we've stuffed up, that's going to be a whole lot of work. So here is my makeshift battery. This is an Anko battery from Kmart, which is great. It's an AGM battery, and I bought this just to do all my testing with. They're quite heavy, which I don't think I'll be using this in the van. So it's an 80 amp hour, which is pretty good, and I think it was around the 140, somewhere around there. It was quite cheap, so yeah, just to do little testing around the workshop is really great. Okay, so we've got everything wired up here onto the battery, which is fine. They're not touching, which will make a spark if it did, but anyway, that's all good for now. It's only just for testing purposes. They're not on any fuses at the moment. Obviously everything will have to be on a fuse, but let's go ahead and test our switches. So, all right, I can't remember exactly what these were, but let's flick the first one. Yep. So that one there is for the back lights. Now I remember that's for the front lights, so we'll flick that off, and the front lights, great, they're on as well. Back lights. Okay, let's test the other side because I did a two-way switching. You could see this wiring diagram, so I want to be able to switch front and back from here as well. So let's try the back lights. Yep, front lights, excellent, excellent. So I also wanted to connect that fan to where I'd probably be sleeping, so if I want a bit of air during the night, let's give that a shot and see what happens. So that's the lights, which is on that one there, so that's the lights for that. Great. Now this is the fan. Let's see if the fan switches on, so flick that on. And it is working. Fantastic. So we can actually set this for extraction or bringing air in, so one way or the other. I've got it taking the air out. All right, well that's good. Let's just have all the lights on, nice and bright. There we go. All right, next thing I want to test is these lights. So let's see if it works. All right, let's have it here and I'll touch it. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, let's check the other side. Fantastic, you can touch it from here. If you hold it down, it will dim it, just like that. So it's dimmed it, or you could make it even brighter, or switch it off. And we've got USB ports here as well. Okay, so that's good. The next thing is, I want to test that to see. So I've put in a switch, so before you get into the shower or the toilet, you flick it on from here, just like your home. I didn't want to do it like a caravan, having everything there, so let's flick it on and see if it works. And it doesn't. Maybe I didn't connect it up. Let's go check. It doesn't work because I haven't connected it up. It's still here. All right, so it's a bit of a long way away, but I guess we still need to test it. So let me wire that up down to all of that whilst everything is going, and let's see if it works. All right, it's all connected in. Let's give it a switch. So here's our switch, so it's off. Let's have a look to see if that's going to work. Yes. Beautiful. Jeez, what was that? Okay, so same deal here. This can be switched on and off here, but I'll have it switched on, and you can also have this either pushing air in or pulling air out. So that's all good. Switch it off. So internally, all systems go. Everything is working. So that's a plus. Last of all, let's test our lights. I know we've tested it before, but once everything is all wired up together, we'll just test it again. So light here, light. This is just one test light. I'm going to have 4 of these on that the canopy that opens up here. So that's just to, everything is fine. So just test. Let's test this one. Great. So that's on. So beautiful. Turn that off. This one. Oops. Still hitting the same switch. Yep. That's good. So this last one is wired in for the pump. So we're going to have a 2-way switching for the pump. This is the sink. So that's not wired in as yet because that's still uncertain at the moment. I haven't quite fixed that in. I've got to put in 2 extra cables for the water tank readers, which I don't have those as yet. So that's going to stay open until I guess I can afford to buy those. Everything costs a lot of money. As you can see, I've spent a fair bit on all of this, and I'm going to go through what I've got here as the technologies that I'm going to be using. So there's this massive box, there's this thing here, which is the inverter, solar panels, controller and everything. So we'll go through those and just have a bit of a look-see and yeah, just give you some ideas on what I'm using. So stay tuned. Okay, the next thing I want to have a look at is, for the time being, painting this. So I did a bit of a paint job yesterday. Woodlands grey, it looks nice, come up all right, but these sections came up pretty crap because I didn't clean it with some, what do they call it, terps or thinners. Yeah, thinners. And so I've gone and got some thinners and I'm going to give it a clean, and then I'm going to paint it, but I'm still undecided. I bought matte black, satin black, sorry. Don't know, I mean, if I go that or the Woodlands grey. Woodlands grey looks nice, but I bought through, you know, the black satin there. What to do, what to do. It does look nice. Black, I don't know. Should we go black? Or should I go back and change it for Woodlands grey? Not sure. Just want to give you a rundown on the cable that I use for the 12 volts. That's the specifications there. If it's a little blurry, but it's basically rated at 16 amps. It is, geez, even I can't read it, it's that small. But it's rated at 16 amps, and I think it was a 4mm cubed wire, figure 8. So yeah, it was more than what I needed, but I got that because I wanted to connect the pump into it as well. So the pump takes rather, I guess, a bit more ampage. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.